Ever wonder what your day would be like with Boom Radio? Yep, us too. We don't think about nightmares.
Yes, sir, yes, ma'am. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Boom Bar, very first edition of the week. My name is Sola Rogers.
And my name is Ola Dolupo. Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Why do you keep changing your name?
What is...
Ola Dolupo. Okay.
Anyway.
Which is no way.
Good day, everybody. It is a wonderful day today at the bar. It is a brand new week, like he had said earlier, and it's going to be a very interesting one as there are a lot of things that we plan to talk about, that updates here and there. One of it is there's still major conversations around Mohbad's death, and it's something a lot of people have been talking about, and I think it's definitely worth talking about. The updates on that. The president is in New York for the
president of Nigeria.
Yeah, the president of Nigeria is in New York, and there are a few updates already on that. So that and a lot of things, a lot of sports stories. Hopefully we'll be able to get through those. I really hope we do get through those because they're actually very interesting stories. Trust me. If not that, we're just supposed... I'll have him say we should start from it. But anyway, we're going to be talking about that and every other thing that pops up as time goes on today. So let's get right into it. We're starting today with... So a Nigerian singer, rapper, and musician generally, Mohbad, 27-year-old, passed on last week Tuesday, if I'm correct, and it had caused his death. Has similarly caused a lot of outrage, a lot of allegations here and there, saying that his death is not natural, that he was killed. The talks of him being poisoned, the talks of him being hit and injured and killed, or some people say it's even jazz. Everybody seems to no, don't let me say everybody. A lot of people seem to have a lot of reactions to it. In fact, they seem to have dragged security agencies into this, and security agencies seem to have things to say. First things first, as of today now, the Lagos Commissioner of Police has inaugurated a team to investigate his death. Now, before we even get to all the stories, I have a few things to unpack. And I think that at this point, I hope people do not do more harm than good to this investigation that is now going on. And why do I say that? And why I said it is because I get it that people are hurt. There is a very young, promising person that is late. But there seems to be an outrage towards some certain set of people. In a discussion with a friend a few days ago, and I'm like, especially in the past, I would say my own what I have seen or what I've experienced in like the past 2 years, everything, especially when it comes to social media, everything is not as it seems. there almost always there's always some underlying story, or there's always more to the story, or it's never even what it looks like at the end of the day. But there are a lot of allegations being thrown around. There are a lot of names being called. And I'm not saying anybody is innocent. But I'm also saying nobody is guilty until proven guilty. I think that at times people do a lot of things. There's a lot of damage. Let's even assume this case even gets to court and all that. There's some things people are doing, things people have done. If not careful, some cases literally will be thrown out on stage of technicalities. We need to be able to, yes, I know there are a lot of emotions running wild, but people need to be able to calm down.
Right. Yeah, it's expected also in a time like this when a popular person, passes on. I'm really going to just start from another angle entirely. And one of the things that I'm proud of Boom Radio for is how we promote every artist that has good music, the ones that send to us, the ones that we buy, the ones that we get, and everything. And it's not until something happens to that artist, either good or bad, before we start to play their music. I see a lot of people saying, oh, he had nice songs. Oh, look at him, he was saying some messages in these songs. And all of that basically shows that more than half of the people who are outraged there never really were into Mohbad. They didn't really care.
Exactly.
They didn't really care about Mohbad the artist or Mohbad the person.
I agree with that angle, because remember that if you are someone that follows Nigerian music and follows Mohbad, there has been a lot of controversy around him for about close to a year.
Yeah.
And remember I was talking about it, and I feel that I've said it to like 2-3 people, and I feel that I'm sorry, but maybe I'm not sorry. But a lot of bloggers, a lot of social media influencers at the moment are cashing in on the wave. I'm trying not to mention names, but I feel that people are just doing it for clicks and clout.
That's what they do.
I feel
that's what they live for.
People are not as sincere as what, because if you really, really cared about this person this much, we cannot deny the fact that there's been issues with him and his record label for almost a year. They had that issues. It was
precisely
almost a year. He sang about it, spoke about it. What did all these people, what did they do?
Absolutely nothing.
He probably needed a lot of help. What happened at that point? What did they do then? Nothing. That's what, and I remember I was getting into a fight with a friend of mine over the weekend. And I was like, all these people, maybe someone somewhere, if they had this verve and energy, if we had put it 5, 6, 7, 8 months ago.
Yeah.
He probably won't be where he is now.
Exactly. Even 1 month ago,
he probably won't be where he is now.
He won't be where he is.
So we need to stop being hypocritical. Yes, that's where I feel. I feel that most of the people talking about it now, they're all being hypocritical about it.
Yeah, most, not all.
Most. Yeah.
All right. So that's that. I wanted to get that off my chest. I've done that. I talk about how suddenly when someone dies, you start to look for
and then you start listening to their music, and it's suddenly topping charts.
And I've explained
I'm wondering, like,
the different angles to it last week. I understand.
But
today
still,
I want to zero in on the,
do you know?
The new lovers.
The truth of the matter is that for someone like Mohbad, me as a person, there's some artists that I will say that I'm huge fans of them.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some songs that just resonate with you.
Yeah.
Take, for example, that his song, the very, very popular one.
KPK.
No, not KPK.
Feel Good.
Feel Good. I'm sure if there might be let's just assuming, if there are 10,000 views of that video on Instagram, I probably will have 1,000 of it.
Yeah.
I think the song is just, there are
it's
2 or 3 of the songs.
And it's also prophetic, it's
2 of the 3 of his songs that I just like.
Yeah.
And I feel that, there's some people that have very unique voices and all that. And I'm like, how many people can... And then you will now go back and then you're now wondering, how come these songs are topping charts now? Where were you people before?
So that's another angle, and of course it's still part of it. But we're still talking about the sad demise of Mohbad and the beautiful body of work that he has. He has songs that I heard a snippet of a song that he had recorded with Chike. The song is not out yet. It's amazing, and to show you how disconnected people are to the artist, there's a video making the rounds, and the song is called "Walking Dead." Even if you Shazam it, it will show you Walking Dead Mohbad. It's not Mohbad's song. It's a song that just dropped yesterday by an artist, I think it's AYP or something, yeah. And he has even quickly made a remix with Zlatan. I'm sure Zlatan wanted to jump on that song. I've listened to the song. It's a very nice song. You get. And people are taking it and say, oh, he was being prophetic about himself. But it was not even a Mohbad song. So if you watch the video, what they did was take that AY guy song and superimpose it on a Mohbad performance somewhere, and you're like, okay, why is this happening? Do you understand?
Yeah.
And again, it's all part of the
yes.
Everybody's trying to establish that.
Everybody's trying to be. That's where my issue comes from. Like, we need to be calming down. Also, now coming off the heels of this, like I had said last week, I don't know if we talked about it at the bar, and I said that I personally was a very huge advocate of investigating his death. Why? I will not have even thought that there was any foul play, as at the time of his death. Two things jumped out to me why I thought there was foul play. First things first, remember when the news dropped and they said that he died of an ear infection? And obviously, I'm not sure I said this on air, but the first thing that dropped out to me was, nobody dies suddenly of an ear infection. You cannot have an ear infection that is close to your death on Sunday, and you were performing on Sunday, and then you suddenly drop dead on Tuesday. It doesn't work like that. That was the first thing that dropped out to me. Then we hear that he's dead one day, and then the next day, they're burying him. Someone that was said to have died under, questionable circumstances. And then you wonder, like, okay, what's happening here? Yes, I get it, especially maybe in Nigeria. And then adding to the fact that he's not Muslim. I know that in Nigeria, especially in the southwest here, when they say when someone dies really young, they say that they don't... the death and the burial is not between the death and burial doesn't take so long that there's no need keeping the bodies for that long and all that. I get it, but for someone that died under questionable circumstances, I felt the least they could have done was an autopsy. And why I said so is that, yes, I know that people will say that it doesn't bring back the dead. Yes, it doesn't. First things first, it will give you a clear insight on why this person died. And another thing it does is, take for example, he has a child. What if what killed him, he's hereditary, and he could have been easily nipped in the bud now with a baby? Those are the reasons why you do autopsies. So it was very, very, and sadly, it was a very sad, if you watch, there was a video of him being buried, and there was nothing in it. It seemed like it was rushed. It was obviously rushed. It seemed like somebody was trying to hide something.
Maybe not, but yes, it was rushed. That's a fact.
Do you understand? So that was where I felt that there was just something off about the whole thing. Not saying that there was anybody involved in particular, but it just looked like it was just off, personally. Now, the Lagos State government and the Lagos State Commissioner has now inaugurated a team to investigate the death of Mohbad. Now, two things I have issues with this. Number one is that, is this investigation going on because he's a popular person? What happens to other young Lagos residents that die every day? Sadly, it happens. It is what it is. Why are we saying that there are investigations that go on into every single person's death? That is one part of it for me. Now, the second part of it for me is that with this investigation, how much of this investigation would be, I won't say free and fair, but I'm saying that how much of this investigation would be without any form of biases? Because, not saying that the police is not they're not going to do their jobs. I'm saying that from the get, there already seems to be a lot of biases against some certain people. Which is why I said that I'm not saying that anybody is innocent, but as long as we do not have evidence against people, that you cannot call anybody guilty. I feel that at this point, everybody that has been mentioned, everybody that has mentioned somebody, because for you to mention people, you should have evidence against them. Everybody that is mentioned, everybody that has mentioned somebody, everybody should be packed up and investigated. Everybody.
This morning, a guy, never heard of him until I saw the video this morning, Salo or something, came out, made a live video, made an Instagram live, and he asked to be arrested. He said he wants the police to arrest himself, Naira Marley, what's the guy everybody's talking about now? Sam Larry.
For
Bella Shmurda. He mentioned, I think, those names and himself. I can't remember if there was a fifth name that he mentioned, but he says that there's a lot to be talked about, and he knows a lot, and he wants all of them to be arrested and put in cell, and that in fact that is when they are high, that because he has had some drink this morning. He made the video this morning, Monday morning. So a 9-minute version of it, and this is like, they should give them a bottle of NSC each, and everybody will speak the truth, that nobody's going to hold back, and he's going to reveal a whole lot. And yeah, so you start to see
like someone that wants to drink free NSC.
Well, yeah, you can say that, but again, it might lead to other things. One thing that I'm worried about is how everybody is taking the camera now.
Yeah.
And making all sorts of videos and opinion pieces about Mohbad's passing, and basically we're all driven by emotions and passion. Now, if we're not careful, we will drown out the real message.
The real
issue. And the message is that the man died an untimely death, and there's something wrong somewhere.
Yes.
And in following popular opinion, we might not do a thorough investigation. So, invite all the names that have been mentioned. Invite his family members, especially his friends, the ones who were with him.
The closest people to him were around his death.
All the people who spent the last 48 hours with him.
Very, very important.
It would be nice to have them.
Very, very important. I also wanted to say, sorry,
go ahead.
that in investigating, there's been a lot of issues that have popped up in the past 1 week, this conversation, and as much as this investigation will not bring back someone that is dead, it might actually save some other people.
Yeah. And, a lot of talk has led to violence in the music industry.
Yeah.
By extension, the entertainment industry in Nigeria. And a lot of talk has led to cultism. Cultism, for non-Nigerians, they'll just see it as gangsterism, really and truly, where that people are swearing blood oaths, and they're being dealt with when they step out of line, in quote, or attempt to step out of line, and all of that. And there's a lot of drug usage, a lot of they're talking about different drugs, like maybe growing up, people my generation were not so adventurous. So it was just one or two things.
Yeah.
It was.
I feel that there's so much drugs in the entertainment system. Even without being in the entertainment system, the generation that we're in now, there is a lot. Every NDLEA seems to be popping out every Sunday. There's list of things that, and whether we like it or not, there is a lot more that than you see around. So it's crazy.
Speaking about the NDLA, they've also been fingered.
Oh, yeah?
There've been a lot of videos. There's a video that someone posted, and actually you will see Mohbad, talking, and he went live. I think he went live on TikTok, on his TikTok handle, and he was talking, and they were trying to get him off the phone. He even looked like he had some white markings on his lips, and he was talking about how he was going through a lot and everything. And the person who posted that video said, this is where Mohbad was at NDLA. Now, I watched that video 3 times. And every time I watch it, I heard Mohbad say, he's at Chevron. And we know that Chevron is a part of Lekki area. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's not NDLA. Even the person in the video said he's at Chevron at the moment. And he did not mention NDLA.
That's why I said that. People need to be coming down, else they will land in jail.
Down the video, you look at people's responses, and everybody, not one single person said, oh, you actually heard Mohbad say he's at Chevron. He did not say it was at NDLA.
Nobody, I don't know where that came from. All of a sudden, that even the NDLA has to pop out and come out to say that there was no time that he was arrested.
So there was a raid. There was a raid a couple of months ago. And in that video, I've watched it a couple of times too. I think it was Zinoliski and a couple of other people that were arrested. Mohbad was not. He was there, but he was not arrested. Do you understand? But now they're saying that.
So we need
to really be... How do I know? Is
exactly.
That I went back to watch the old reports.
Exactly. Now that this is where my issue comes from. Nobody goes back. And that's what when I was saying that if people are not careful, they will make allegations that will hurt even this investigation. Because now, the person that has alleged it, if there is really no arrest of the said person, Mohbad, with the NDLA can literally sue people. And a lot of blogs have gone on with those stories without even verifying a lot of things. So we've seen so many of them.
Regardless of how we want things to be done by the book, directly or indirectly, people like Sam Larry and Naira Marley really have questions to answer.
Oh yes, I feel that they do. They might not have they might or they might not have anything to do with his death, but
they have questions to answer.
To even clear their own names at this point, it's better for them to show their face, explain some things. Definitely not to the general public. Let's be honest.
Naira Marley put out a couple of questions a few days ago.
Yeah, and
honestly, I said, okay, yeah, he's making a lot of sense, right? But you see, the case against him that they are stacking in the court of public opinion, now not in the court of law, has to do with, emotional torture, physical abuse, you get exploitation, amongst other things. You get, like, he's left your record label for about a year. What is the situation of his catalog, for instance? You get... One of the things that some record labels do is that when an artist signed to their label puts out work, the artist doesn't put it out on his own personal YouTube or streaming. They use the company's own for obvious reasons. Some record labels will allow you put it out on your own, and they will also put it out and all of that. But in the case of Mohbad, most of the work he did while he was signed or working with Malian Records or Malian Music are still being tied to Malian Music. These are things that need to be clarified and unbundled. Now, for sentimental reasons, you can say you should give it to him. But I really hope that he didn't sign one of those terrible contracts.
If there is paperwork and is an issue of percentage, there's really nothing anybody could do about those things.
For the sake of the child that Imole has left behind as a Mohbad, they should just let it go. Give him his work at least, and maybe I don't know who they're going to hand over to now, because it's obvious that Mohbad's mom and dad are not together. It's obvious. Yeah. And they're not on the same page.
They're not.
And there's still the case of his wife and his child.
Okay, so Grace and Mercy says, you guys need coffee. Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. Anyway,
so
I think that really, people just need to be careful at this point. Okay, before we leave this matter, we know that one of his closest pals, Bella Shmurda, has now put out another statement today asking the son of the president, Sheyi Tinubu, to intervene in the circumstances, so that, according to his tweet, he said that Sheyi Tinubu, you are the face of youth in this country. I'm not sure about that. And I know you're a man of diligence and integrity. Please activate before we go to streets on this matter. Police station no go contain us. Ajay, pound for pound, flesh for flesh. I don't think this is a very nice statement. I know that this is a very emotional one, but it also sounds like you're implicating yourself.
Yeah, there are a couple of other tweets that he put out. Basically,
I was not. There was a longer part of it. I'm not sure I want to read those things.
There are a couple of tweets that he had already put out, talking about how different cults in Nigeria should come together, on this matter and everything, and I think that
isn't that what we're trying to like
in putting these things out again, there has to be some form of maturity.
Exactly.
Being displayed. There is a painful system. You just lost one of your closest friends, and everybody gets that. Bella Shmurda is so pained that he cancelled his tour. I think he said his family is in Canada, and he's also supposed to go on a tour, and he's postponed it. You get indefinitely until whenever he feels strong enough, and he said he's on his way back to Nigeria. Now, we must be careful. There's a lot of insecurity in certain parts of the land that are actually cult-induced or cult-influenced. There's a lot of violence going on in Shagamu as we speak, and it is alleged to be cult-related. So we don't want to escalate those kind of things. I think what people like Bella should do is sit down with the authorities and give them enough information. Information that you have. There are things that a lot of people don't know. And you might be key, I see him as a key witness, to unraveling
some of these issues, but we really need to be careful.
Getting the justice that you need. There's a quote that is ascribed to Portable. As much as you want to dislike Portable or whatever, he always has wisdom. Like I look at the guy. Always. So
I think that sometimes. Let's put sometimes. Let's say always.
You will see that through the noise, he always brings out something. I'm telling you, on marriage, on relationships, on celebrity. He was telling some celebrities that you're living a fake life and you better go and be real and make money and take care of your family. Leave that. Now, he said something. He said, the only way to get real justice for Mohbad is not about making noise and tweeting or posting justice for Mohbad. It is to look for 70 lawyers and pay for them and let them get justice for Mohbad. He said he will pay. He said they should bring 69, that he will pay for the 70th lawyer. That is a practical approach.
It's a practical approach, actually. That's what I'm saying.
Are you playing?
Let's look. Remove sentiment. To be honest, it makes a lot of sense. Let's not even lie.
That's what I'm saying.
It makes a lot of sense.
Hashtags are good. You can retweet and shout.
But at the end of the day, if we don't look for practical solutions,
there has to be a practical solution that you need to step it up. No, picture if, for instance, his family is going through a lot. So you stand in the gap for them and say, okay, these are two strong lawyers who would
because left to me at this point, like I said, is one thing that to be getting justice for the person that is dead. As sad as it is, it doesn't bring the person back. But as much as we're looking for justice for this person, I am more of that this kind of investigations might, I'm not saying might uncover a lot of things that could actually save other people's lives. It could. So at this point, we need to is more of thinking straight, calming the emotions, enough of this emotional drama that's been happening on social media. Sadly, even a few older people are jumping on it and using it as that's because that's the way I see it. A lot of these people are just using it for clout and what's that. I don't know. I'm really trying. Can we move on? Because I'm about to mention somebody's name. Right?
In all that you do, in seeking justice for Mohbad and trying to right some wrongs, because at times, it's one incident that would lead to several, things that would, bring some change or some positive change. Just ensure that you're not using Mohbad. They used him when he was alive. He's dead now. Don't use the man.
Anyway, let's move on quickly from that, and let's move on to President Tinubu. President Tinubu has landed in New York for the United Nations General Assembly, the 70th edition of that. And there's been a lot of talks of the things and a lot of things that the president is supposed to do at the sidelines of this. His itinerary, I think, is out on the day that he's going to address people and all that. And starting from that already, there's already news coming from this. As the Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, who suddenly seems to be President Tinubu's bestie now, because I think he was with him in India.
Yes, they were in India.
Oh, yeah. So he's with him in New York again. He's saying that Nigeria will be seeking partnerships in 3 core areas of tech as part of his agenda for August 78. They're talking about AI, economic diversification through technology, global partnerships in innovation and tech. There are a few things which I feel that... if you actually read it, it was basically talking about connectivity, AI, and diversification. That's what his ministry is, through the president, is looking to go to the General Assembly for.
Well, the UN General Assembly is very important. It's a big thing. It's an august occasion and all of that. But it's the sidelines of it that matters the most to countries like Nigeria, especially at a time like this. Just like the G21 or G20 that Nigeria attended a few days ago in India, like the G77 that Nigeria still attended in Cuba a few days ago, represented by the vice president. It's the sidelines. It's those agreements that you make. It's not the general meeting. The general meeting, there's a lot of pronouncements to be made. They're important. I'm not saying they're not. But the more important...
more one-on-one
are the meetings that happen on the sidelines of the where you're able to strike all these partnerships and bring all these deals. It's looking like a youth-centric government, looking at how, that, for instance, IT, if you're going to do, check the demograph that is vested in IT, check the ones that populated the most, that use it the most, that are going to benefit from it the most in the immediate. It's the young people.
Yeah.
You get. So it's also good that they're looking at it from that angle. A few appointments were made, or suggestions for appointments where people were nominated. 2 names came up for the newly created Ministry of Youth.
Yeah, there's a Minister of Youth and Minister of State for Youth.
And you look at the 2 names and you're like, these are actually then I start to look back like, we used to have Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, or Youth and Sports. Whatever way they have tweaked and turned it. But I'm not sure we ever really had someone this young. And again,
both of them are pretty young.
And again, another woman.
Yeah.
And I was excited when I looked at the bio of the Dr. Bill lady, and I'm like, oh, this is very impressive. So hopefully all these people will tend to deliver and work, to achieve.
Hand in hand, and they probably understand things better. Like Minister of Youth, take for example, I know that the NYSC is under the Ministry of Youth. Used to be under the Ministry of Youth and Sport, so I'm guessing it definitely cannot be under the Ministry of Sport anymore, yeah? They probably will understand a lot of the issues around NYSC better, as God I don't know how old or how young. I can't say how young because they were really old. All our Minister of Youth and Sport, they're not like old. They're not like young, or they were not like young. So some of them probably never even did NYSC. They probably passed out of school before NYSC started. What? Now,
We're coming down now.
Am I lying?
We're coming down.
Or some of them, maybe it was when NYSC started that day. So they don't even understand what happens, like, in the past. Has been happening in NYSC. It's the truth. Let's call it a spade a spade.
It's your truth.
Should we look for the ages of our former ministers
I do not support having old people there, but you are going to the extreme by, your description and all of that, which is not true.
Okay.
Which is not.
I hear you. If you say so.
Yeah.
Anyway, so basically, like he had said, I actually was going to talk about, just breeze through it, that the president had already nominated 2 people, the Minister of Youth and Minister of State for Youth, but now they still have to go through screening through the Senate and before they're confirmed as ministers. And I'm guessing that's probably because the Senate has not announced anything yet, so maybe later this week or maybe next week. We don't know when exactly that would be. So let's move on from that. Now let's go on from that and let's move quickly. The federal government and the Labour are having a meeting as we speak. The talks of, the NLC wanting to go on strike again.
Indefinite strike this time.
To be honest with you, I'm not fans of the NLC or the idea of strikes. Why? Because I feel that since I was born, I've always heard that people are going on strike. If NLC is not going on strike, TUC is going on strike, NUPENG is going on strike, ASU is going on strike, somebody is going on strike, NNPC, anybody, I didn't say NNPC, but somebody shall go on strike, which I feel that it's just a vicious cycle, and I'm not sure these strikes really do anything. I'm always of the opinion that if you can't keep doing the same thing over and over again and get different results, we need to find better ways to be able to dialogue and talk to ourselves and find solutions to things other than going on strikes and downing tools. Now, the Minister of Labour and Employment, Simon Lalong, has now said that past industrial actions actually have adverse effects on the country's economy. He made this known as the meeting was about to begin with the NLC. So we do not have, we'll see what happens at the, maybe there's a communique that will be released or something at the end of this meeting, but the meeting is ongoing. Now, let's move on from that and move on to a bit of the CBN. Now, first things first. For people that's collected COVID-19 loans, you're on your own, CBN.
You're not just on your own. Go and pay.
Go and pay.
It's loan. They didn't say grant.
They didn't say grants.
Or dash. Or urgent,
urgent
loan.
Urgent 2K.
Go and pay back.
And this is part of the issues that we have as Nigerians. I feel that it is wrong for you to collect loans, and because I've literally heard someone say, "Shebi is government money."
Yeah, they do it.
People do not feel the need to be accountable. When I say that a lot of Nigerians are badly behaved, people think that I'm lying. We cannot continue like this and expect the country to move forward. Why this is bad is because some people have now collected these loans. They're literally going into people's accounts to withdraw money, forcefully take out money because people do not want to pay their loans. What happens? Will there ever really be another batch of loans? Wouldn't the process be stricter? Wouldn't it be more difficult for the next set of people to get loans from the government? I think that when we do things, you should realize that if you're not doing it just for yourself, you are hurting other people in turn. Let's stop behaving like animals.
You've spoken well. You think that some of these people don't know what they're doing. Someone gets a loan and the first thing they want to do is buy a car
or marry a wife,
or get a new wife, maybe a second wife. Are you people or third wife?
You know that loans are like, you should actually pour loans into things that would pay back the loan.
We need serious reorientation.
I don't know what you're doing.
Someone got an official. I would never stop saying this. he got an official car in his office, and the car was actually for his entire department. But because he was the head of the department, he took the car.
I was cruising it
Is
around.
it the cruising? He went to church on Sunday to do Thanksgiving. You know, that he just got a car, you know, a branded car, company, and the church came out.
But wait, I have a question. The fact that it is a branded car, doesn't that show that it's not your own?
How many members of that church even have cars in the first place?
So they didn't know, they didn't realize.
Don't care now. Man brought a brand new car, branded or not. The bottom line is that.
What is that?
Is that our mentality has to change.
It's warped. It's warped.
If you realize that the official vehicle is not yours, in most
Even
cases,
if it's yours.
No, in most cases, is it not yours until it is monetized, until you are asked to pay for it.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And
no,
the
what I
earliest
was
I've
even
heard,
saying is
the earliest
that
I've heard is 18 months.
what I'm
Some
even
people,
saying is
10
that,
years
you know,
after.
some vehicles, like, it's your own, like it's given to you as your official car. It's worse if it is for a department and then you now, you know.
So
hand
all
over
those
to your
things,
chest.
like
God.
there's an official laptop or a phone. It's not yours.
Yours.
Now you're not talking about loan. I deliberately brought it down to mundane things before we talk about loans. Our approach to these things is wrong, and you're not just messing things up for yourself. You're messing it up for the next batch of people
exactly.
who should be enjoying
enjoying
loans.
those things as well. Yes, exactly. Now moving on from that, still talking about CBN. Human rights lawyer Femi Falana has decided today to come for the no, there's no suspended anymore because there's a new CBN governor. Former. It's now former.
We don't have a new governor yet, but he's the former.
We have a acting CBN governor.
Has he resumed?
Has he not?
He can't now until they confirm that this guy has resigned. You know, it's either
He has been.
The fastest way to get him out is for him to have tendered his resignation letter. You need to read the CBN Act and everything. So it is rumored that he did that in August, but we need an official statement from the government. So is still
There shall have been an announcement
suspended governor
about a new acting CBN governor and the whole new management altogether. Anyway, Mr. Femi Falana has decided to ask the federal government to prosecute Godwin Emefiele and the whole CBN management over the Naira scarcity. Remember that Naira scarcity issue?
You're asking me if I remember. have I gotten over it? If I remember. Is it not like as if Uncle Femi Falana has gone to watch one of my
very angry videos?
Very nice videos talking about Epele. Emefiele. Look, I 110% agree with, Mr. Falana.
There has to be an investigation into that drama.
This man supervised one of the worst monetary policies, enactment or whatever
the
in the
sad
history
part
of
for me
mankind.
Is that at least for once, I have at least witnessed one Naira redesign. I have witnessed one. And we were not even this, what would I say? We're not this technologically advanced then. And it was, I don't know, maybe because I was way younger, it was actually pretty seamless. It literally was seamless. After a while, you see the new money, and then you see a lot of the new money, and then you just, in fact, there was no need to even submit. I don't think there was a deadline. After a while, people just start submit, and then there wasn't an issue around it.
We should not, lose sight of the fact that
Emefiele turned it to a natural disaster.
You do not mop up trillions of naira, and release billions and expect that things will go smoothly. It's not possible. I always talk about one of these roads here in Lagos where there's a 2-lane service lane, another service lane of 2 lanes, then the main one of 3 lanes. And that's how many lanes? 7 lanes converging into 3 lanes just by the old toll gate. There will always be traffic at peak periods.
Yeah, it's sad.
Because you're converging into a small space. It's the same thing that he did.
He did. According to Mr. Falana, sorry to cut, just wanted to put it to buttress what you were saying. He said that the CBN had mopped up 3.5 trillion naira but disbursed only 402 billion naira. How wicked can that be?
And you see people, they were selling Naira, like people, they were selling to withdraw
never again,
your money.
never again. And the truth is that we have not even recovered from that, because how you will know? How many ATMs do you see work?
People died.
How many ATMs are you still seeing that still work? We have still not recovered from the madness that
check.
happened during that time.
If they bring out statistics next year of what transpired this year, especially from December 2022 to March 2023, you will discover, I don't have the statistics, but I have the gut feeling that more people died that period than the previous window of that same December to March.
It was really sad. It was very.
This is me pleading with the people who have arrested him. It's the DSS Abi that have arrested him. Please don't bungle this case.
His man must go to jail, Abi. Anyway, moving on from that quickly, there are a few state stories that I want to talk about, but because of the time, if I have time, I will go back to them. There's news from Osun State. There's news from Zamfara State. There's news. The NDLE has news also. There's news from Edo State. The deputy governor is being locked out of the government house. But I wanted to move a little bit to a bit of sport news that I felt that we should get that out of the way. Now, Nigeria's Quadri Aruna has now retained his ITTF African Championship title. This is second time in a row.
God bless Aruna Quadri. Ever since he burst on the scene, he has maintained that peak level of performance. He's always putting smiles on our faces. And, you know, these are the true heroes of Nigerian sports. In a sport that has been dominated in Africa by the Egyptians, now Nigeria is giving them a run for their money. And you find other countries, like the other country that is breathing down our necks, Congo, or what's the name? 80% of the athletes are from Nigeria. Oh. So that's how powerful Nigeria is now in table tennis. And regardless of all of that, Aruna
is still doing amazing. Another person that is doing amazing. This is huge news, especially with what happened a few weeks ago. You know that it was just a letdown, probably a lot more of a mental issue with all the things that happened around her. And this is the president of Toby Amusan, who has now won the third Diamond League trophy in a row. A
big shout out to Toby.
It's amazing news.
One of my friends posted the video of our victory, but it highlighted the commentators' way, and I watched the video twice. And I shout out to Colin, not Collins. The commentator did not mention Amusan until the end of the race. He kept on talking about the other
everybody
people,
else,
but
everybody
Amusan.
else,
and it shows you what she's up against.
Yeah,
on the tracks and off the tracks.
And off the tracks, it's beautiful. Also, as much as Ese Brumer did not win the gold, but she also made podium. She was second in a long jump, and it's beautiful. It's interesting how Nigerians are actually doing amazing.
It's in our DNA.
It is. Another Super Falcon seems to have moved up in the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers, as Sao Tome and Principe ladies have decided they are not playing Nigeria.
It's wrong.
Why?
They have to.
After 16-0, home and away that you people gave them with the men, you are now going to humiliate them further. No. Because we all know that Falcons, you know,
it's unfair. Sao Tome and Principe.
You should have let this ball play. At least it will be good for training.
It's unfair on the Nigerian ladies. It's unfair on the Nigerian ladies.
They say they are not playing.
They might not even score as much as 16 in one match now. You know, maybe the first match like 14, then the second match 12, everything like 26-0. You understand?
No, they shall say they are not playing. They are not playing with you people.
It's wrong,
people are doing too much. So they are not playing with you people.
It's painful. See, Sao Tome, let me beg you guys. We're not that great. Come and play with us, please now. Please.
They say they are not playing.
What if we sponsor their
We
trip?
are not playing.
Go fund me.
So,
Go,
and you know,
go
the
fund
country,
Tome
the
and
country is
Principe.
like, you know what? Don't push, don't go and buy.
Don't
Don't
waste
waste
money.
our money. Just go sit at home.
It's not fair, Sha.
It's 3-0. They
Okay,
will give you.
we'll give you the under 17 team to play.
We're not playing. They say they are not playing. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Anyway, quickly, let's move on from that. But shout out to the Super Falcons. Like you, I like the fact that you are actually that fearful. Like people literally don't want to play with you. I think it's actually a huge thing, really, for the Super Falcons. Shout out to them. They're doing amazing. Moving on from that, the Premier League match day 5 this weekend was very interesting. As the international break was over, started on Saturday with Wolves and Liverpool. Liverpool seems to be giving people good football this season. They seem to be coming back little by little. They're back with Wolves, where they defeated Wolves 3-1. Fulham defeated Luton Town 1-0. I think Luton Town is going back to where they're coming from. But anyway, I don't know yet. Tottenham, over the weekend, on Friday, they actually got manager and player of the month. So they're doing really well. That you cannot take away from them. So they also defeated Sheffield 2-1. Manchester City defeated West Ham 3-1. It's kind of expected. Crystal Palace was defeated by Aston Villa 3-1. Brighton, the very unexpected one was Brighton defeating Manchester United 3-1 at home. That was not what anybody was expecting, but it is what it is. Newcastle defeated Brentford 1-0. Another very interesting one was Bournemouth and Chelsea 0-0. And Everton and Arsenal 1-0 for the first time in about 6 years. Arsenal finally beat Everton at home. There's been a lot of controversy here and there, first with United and everybody talking about what is actually happening in this team. In 5 games, they have lost 3. It is not looking good at all. It is not a good way. I'm not sure their form has ever been this bad ever before. So, because of course you expect that United has always been that top club that you would expect. Also, I saw a story today of how Piers Morgan was going off with Arteta and how he had claimed that they had benched Ramsdale for what's his name? For Raya. And in my mind, I'm like, I thought there's Champions League at the weekend. So where's the issue coming from? But anyway, there's news. It will always be news. But Monday Night Football today is Nottingham Forest and Burnley. That's going to be at 7:45. So, moving on from our sports stories. Yeah, I really wanted to get that out. I think we still have time for 1 or 2 stories. Now, we know that there was the announcement of President Tinubu appointing the Lagos head of service as his principal secretary. As of today, he has now officially resigned as Lagos head of service. And moving on from that, Lagos deputy governor said, and I quote, "I'm standing by the gates."
Edo deputy governor.
Edo deputy governor.
No, you have to take it again. You said Lagos deputy governor.
No.
Edo no be Lagos.
Oh God, I said Edo deputy governor. Anyway, this was a statement from the Edo State deputy governor, Philip Shuaibu, where he seemed to have been locked out.
There's a video. The video is there. It's been carried by most of the media platforms. It's out there. Everybody's seen that video. I know that things are broken down between the governor of Edo State and his deputy. It's not the first time we're hearing about this kind of things. But now that there are more cameras and there's more internet, we get to see them happen in real time or almost real time. So he had been relocated to a spot outside of the state secretariat where he used to be, into somewhere on the road somewhere. And now the deputy governor was locked out. I think that at some point one of them should do the needful. If if he has to resign to preserve his dignity and go and get time to campaign, because it's obvious that he wants to be governor.
Yeah, I really
You
feel
get.
that it's also not a good look even on the governor himself.
Yeah, I was going to come to the governor's part of things, but on the part of the deputy governor, maybe he should just resign and let it go. It's obvious that this is bad. We've seen too many embarrassing moments between him and his principal. The other day he was doing a celebration of the state's
that security
anniversary, and they actually stopped him from talking to the governor. Before that one, it was him trying to get into a meeting inside the governor's house, and they told
I think
him
the governor
that his name is not on
in
the
part
list.
of me, I feel the governor is doing too much.
You
You
know?
can still ostracize someone and people outside do not have to know.
Well, he wants people outside to know, and that's how dirty politics can be at times. Now, the sad part for the deputy governor is that it's most likely impossible for him to go back to the APC and get the kind of prominence he had there.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard because the statements credited to their own former principal, because Adams Oshomole actually brought these two together. Now, I've seen a video of Oshomole being like, you know.
I don't know if you.
It's interesting how a whole deputy governor. That means, so is governance going on in Edo State? That's the question that I would like to ask. Is governance going on?
Yeah, well,
because it looks like it's all politics.
It's all politics.
So you're going to spend 8 years of politicking.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Now, also the tribunal in Zamfara State has now affirmed the election of Dauda Lawal, the PDP governor, as the governor of the state. So
congratulations to him once again.
To the governor.
It's time to get on with governance.
Also, from Osun State, the government of Osun State is alleging sabotage in the averted aircraft accident that involved the governor over the weekend. They wanted to,
So the beauty of air travel is that there's a Bureau of Investigation that actually delves into these things. So the governor might be onto something. Maybe he is right, maybe he's not. But I think we need to get a proper report. And that's the beauty of air transport. It's so detailed that you will know if he's right or wrong. And if he's right, who is behind this? If he's wrong, okay.
Anyway, the NDLEA has announced the seizure of illicit drug consignments at the Muri-Okunola Mohammed Airport again.
Yeah, it's obvious that this war against drugs is going to be on forever. The people who are behind it, they're not going to stop. They'll continue to do it. So it's up to the drug law enforcement agencies and all the security agencies to up their game. But it looks like they are doing a good job.
Yeah, they
at least to me.
Yes, they're not doing badly at all. Personally, also the NDLEA, before we leave, has now rescued 5 pregnant teenagers in Imo State. They said they've uncovered sort of what we can call a baby factory.
Yeah, we hear about these things every 3 to 4 months. Look at the lives of 15, 16, 17-year-old girls that has been turned upside down. In investigating this, they ask them questions and they don't even know who the baby fathers are.
No.
So it's so unfair.
It's unfair. It definitely
How are we so mean to ourselves? You get people's innocent children, put them in some form of they call them a baby factory, like for real.
They're so young, like it's
for real.
They themselves are still children.
For real.
It's a very sad.
So there's
one.
a market for it. That means they're selling these babies. That's what it means.
Yeah.
And how come we never really see after this bust? We don't really.
We never see who is
the people behind it and how well they're going to deal with them.
I agree. It's the very sad
baby factory.
It's the saddest part of the whole conversation. But anyway, on that note, that is all we able to take today on The Bar. Thank you for listening. Thank you very, very much for watching. We'll be back again at 3 p.m. West African time tomorrow to give you another wonderful edition of The Bar. Do you have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day ahead?
Peace.